supporting from afar. And you know, my daughter Riley is going to be on a new show coming to Bravo, Next Gen. They just announced it last week. Yeah, so I hope you guys support my daughter Riley Burruss. Y'all seen her grow up on The Real Housewives, and now she's going to be on a new show. It's coming June 3rd, so check her out too.
What tips did you give her about entering? I mean, obviously she's a part of reality television in the past, but to a different level.
Yes, a different level. And so I told her, when you're filming, stand on everything you say. Don't ever go back and try to act like you didn't say something so they can rewind the tape on you.
Roll the tape.
You have to own it, stand on it. And if you need to apologize, but don't lie about saying stuff.
Absolutely.
Because we be having a lot of liars on those shows, you know. We don't want to be, no.
When her mother, Kandi Burruss, dominated TV screens, award shows, and business headlines, Riley Burruss was the quiet girl who stayed in the background. It was her life. She didn't choose to grow up on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She had been accustomed to camera since she was 6 years old. They documented her highs and lows, including the times she most likely wished had remained private. Riley remained silent, polite, and appreciative for the longest period of time, but silence has an end, and Riley has just reached it. She is currently 22 years old.
And if you don't know, my mom was originally on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I've been featured on Bravo a few times, but this is my first time being the main character.
The quiet, kind child we saw on Bravo is no longer Riley. She has become more educated and is taking charge of her own destiny, and her candid and illuminating podcast appearances are upending the very reputation Kandi spent years cultivating. Riley didn't hold back. She did not curse or scream. She didn't use dramatic name dropping, but her remarks were powerful. She began to reveal, with a steady gaze and a composed voice, what it was really like to be the daughter of one of the most successful women on reality TV. And it wasn't glamorous, you know. Riley discussed the emotional burden she bore as a child, which went beyond the loss of her biological father, Buck, and included something more significant: being neglected emotionally by the only parent present when the cameras were focused on Kandi, the ultimate boss mom balancing shows, businesses, and red carpet appearances. Riley was watching and hurting in silence. She acknowledged that she frequently felt invisible, sometimes even to her mother in addition to her father. "You don't get to pick the family you're born into," she said, her voice brimming with emotion, "but sometimes people see you smiling and assume everything's perfect." That line there was never just about Block. So let's take a moment to think about it. The reason why Block was absent from Riley's life has long been a story. Kandi kept them apart, he said. Riley is now old enough to speak for herself, and what she shared paints a picture that contradicts both of Kandi's claims that he decided not to attend. She recalled birthdays when there were no calls, extended periods of quiet, and a profound, agonizing sense of forgetfulness.
It's been about a year since you announced you were leaving Housewives. Did you have any FOMO or regret knowing cameras were back up, or is it all that chapter is closed and you've moved on?
Actually, I feel like it's closed for me and I moved on. I thought to myself when I was first making the decision, I was kind of like, is this smart? Like, am I doing the right thing? And anytime you've done something for 14 years straight, it's kind of like hard to walk away from it.
She stated, "I remember the silence more than I remember any excuse. It's difficult. However, what truly astounded fans was how much Riley also seemed to be hinting at Kandi, not in a hostile or irate manner, but rather like someone removing a Band-Aid and exposing a wound that never healed. She spoke of individuals in her life defending their reputations rather than her emotions. Many people were surprised by that. Did she mean Bravo, her mother, or both? The fact that Riley's recent actions reflect her subdued rebellion is even more telling. On social media, she has unfollowed some relatives. She is talking about boundaries and isn't as frequent in Kandi's Instagram posts as she once was. Here's where it really hit home. Privacy is healing, which encompasses everything someone says when attempting to take back control of their life. Kandi wasn't the only person who raised Kylie. She was also raised by the media, producers, reality TV viewers, and millions of people who followed her every step without understanding what she was really going through. Whether she wanted it or not, Riley was touched by the fame, which didn't just belong to her mother. Now, for the first time, Riley isn't requesting privacy. Instead, she is demanding the return of her story. When the truth finally comes out after years of silence, not with anger or drama, People pay attention because this story is about a girl who discovered her voice and chose to use it, not just about a broken family. There is more to being the child of a celebrity than fancy cars and high-end clothing. From the time Riley Burruss was able to speak, she had to live under constant scrutiny. Camera crews, storylines, and the public owned her life. They knew where to put the lighting before she did, and they knew how to deal with the spotlight and heartbreak. A manual was not included. Riley once acknowledged that she didn't mind remaining silent for years because she believed it was polite to do so, especially when your mother's face was on television screens all over the world. However, as Riley grew older, she began to realize how profoundly those unsaid moments had shaped her. She wasn't just coping with an absent father, she was coping with a lifetime of emotional marginalization. Riley began to hint that being the oldest child in a well-known family came with expectations that no one had warned her about. In a conversation that went viral, Riley said, "When you're the first, you carry the weight. You get the stressed version of your parents, not the healed one." And that really got to people, because it wasn't just Kandi's busyness. Riley felt that she had to be all right for everyone else. In countless Instagram posts, YouTube vlogs, and endearing moments shared with millions of people, Kandi publicly gushes over her younger children, Ace and Blaze, which fans have noticed. Riley, she's largely missing from that carefully planned performance. She might have chosen to withdraw, but it's also possible that she never felt welcome in the first place. It takes time to create that kind of emotional rift. It develops gradually through missed birthdays, compelled filming, and interrupted conversations due to a camera that needs to be reset. There's a theory that Riley simply became a part of the Burruss brand by accident. She was never intended to be a major character. It's a difficult reality to face, particularly when everyone is complimenting your mother on her strength, success, and commitment to family, while you're sitting at home wondering if anyone ever inquired about your well-being. Riley discussed learning to say no, even if it hurts those close to her, in a live stream clip that was recently rediscovered. She didn't have to name anyone, so she didn't. The internet quickly put the pieces together, assuming that Riley had finally begun prioritizing herself, even if it meant renouncing the machine her family had constructed. In all honesty, it was about time. Rumors circulated that Riley had also questioned some financial choices, though they were never verified. Riley has consistently stated that she values independence, so it wasn't about being pampered. However, the fact that the daughter of a multimillionaire businessman said she paid for some of her own college expenses because she felt compelled to, rather than because she had to, raised serious concerns. Was there a deeper conflict over support and emotional access, or was it a matter of principle? Riley has made it apparent that she wants peace, not sympathy. She discussed how difficult it is to forgive those who consistently elevate their image above your reality. She once said, "You can forgive someone and still not let them back in, especially if you know they're more interested in what the world thinks than how you feel." This is one of her best quotes to date. It's clarity, not bitterness. Riley has just edited herself to protect those who never protected her in return, and as she continues to discover her voice, it's becoming evident that she isn't looking back. Riley isn't dragging anyone. Social media erupted in Twitter threads as soon as Riley's remarks began making the rounds on the internet. TikToks and captions on Instagram, everyone had something to contribute. While some praised her for her bravery and others questioned her timing, one thing was certain. For once, she had everyone's attention. Riley wasn't being talked about, rather, she was leading the conversation. This conversation is larger than a single family, but Riley revealed something more profound, particularly for young women who were raised in successful homes where they were expected to smile, keep quiet, and bear the burden of someone else's legacy. Despite being encased in the glitz and glamour of reality TV and celebrity status, Riley's story is incredibly relatable on a deeper level. She spoke maturely rather than resentfully. She had no intention of canceling anyone, nor was she bringing her father or mother down with her. More potently, she forced people to reconsider everything they believed to be true about the Burruss family by speaking the truth as she experienced it. Kandi Burruss has been working to maintain a flawless image for decades. A boss, a supermom who does everything, and she has accomplished a lot, to her credit. Riley's voice adds a level of complexity that few women in entertainment have managed to achieve. It claims that powerhouse parents can leave scars behind and that even supermoms make mistakes. People are divided. Some vehemently defend Kandi, claiming that she kept their family afloat, did her best, and gave Riley everything he could possibly need, but others are taking a closer look. They're posing challenging queries. Was achieving success more important than developing an emotional bond? Did Riley have enough room to develop into her own person before being labeled as Kandi's daughter? There are already rumors circulating that Kandi's team is frantically looking for brand managers and public relations advisors. People are concerned because this isn't just any internet rumor. It's a personal one. And when a public figure's daughter speaks out in this way, it affects everything they've worked so hard to create. Kandi hasn't responded to any of Riley's remarks directly, and her cheerful, professional social media image hasn't changed. When she is ready, she shares content about her businesses, younger children, and new endeavors. Fans have noted that silence is beginning to feel like a statement in and of itself, and Riley is conspicuously absent from it all. Riley's fan base is steadily expanding in the interim. Her message is resonating with people because it is honest rather than dramatic. There are rumors that she intends to start her own platform soon, such as a podcast or blog, which would allow her to communicate directly with the audience. Some even think a book may be coming soon. It's evident that Riley has at last left the supporting role that was assigned to her. Riley's story is already changing how people perceive the entire Burruss legacy, regardless of whether her mother publicly reacts or not. She is not just the daughter of a famous person, she is her own person with her own story and now her own audience. She is choosing herself and no longer seeking approval. By doing so, she is not only changing her own narrative, but also sending a message to everyone else who has ever been advised to keep their image intact rather than speak their truth. Now that the truth has found its voice, no amount of silence can bury it. Riley Burruss is standing tall, not as a reality TV character, but as a real woman who has finally been heard.